I sell at the top. I don't swing trade. I don't make a job out of it. I only own physical silver. Silver is more volatile. When it goes up, it goes up. When it crashes hard compared to gold. For the first time in history, we're now seeing silver for currency backing. This is going to be one of those videos you're going to want to share. Gold has been getting all the headlines. Gold hit 4,800, 5,500 before the end of last year. Gold's at all-time highs, gold this, gold that, and I get it. Gold is an incredible run, and we talked about that in a recent video. But what if I told you that while everyone was watching gold, silver quietly did something even more dramatic? Silver is up over 143% year over year, not 25%, not 50%, not to gold's 70% last year, but 143%. And almost nobody in the mainstream financial media is talking about it. Now, here's what's interesting. Bank of America, one of the largest financial institutions in the world, has published a price target of silver ranging from $135 an ounce to $309 an ounce in 2026. Silver is currently around $80. That means their analysis suggests that it could be 2 to 4 times higher than it is today. Now, if that sounds too good to be true, stay with me because I'm gonna walk you through exactly why those numbers aren't crazy and why silver is different from gold in the ways that matter, as well as how I personally approach silver as part of my own financial strategy. This is going to be one of those videos you're going to want to share. So while everybody was watching gold, silver quietly staged one of the most significant runs in modern commodity history. And the people who missed it are still scratching their heads and wondering how. So let me give you some numbers. At the end of 2024, silver was trading at about $30 an ounce. By April of 2026, it's at that $80 an ounce range. That is a gain of more than 143% in about 15 months. If we look at January of last year, 2025, silver was about $30 an ounce. It went all the way up to 120 in a 12-month period of time. Meanwhile, gold did about 55 to 70% in that same period of time. And if you turned on CNBC or read about the Wall Street Journal, all you heard about was gold. Why is that? Well, because silver is smaller. It doesn't fit as cleanly into the safe haven narrative that the financial media likes to sell. But the numbers don't lie. Here's a simple way to think about it. If you had put $10,000 into silver at the start of 2025, you'd have 24 grand a day. And that same 10 grand in gold is about 15,500. Both are great outcomes, but silver beat gold by almost $9,000 on a 10K investment. That's a completely different outcome. Now, most investors focus on the asset that's getting the most press. Sophisticated investors look at the relative performance and ask, what's actually outperforming? Silver has been outperforming gold by a wide margin, and most retail investors have no idea why. The financial media is not your friend in this regard. They cover what gets the clicks, not what necessarily makes you money. So now that you know what silver has done, the more important question is why? Because silver is not the same story as gold's story. Silver is something gold doesn't have. It might be the reason its ceiling is significantly higher than most people think. So this next section, I'm going to talk about why silver over gold. And if anything, I want you guys to take notes on this, rewind this, pause it, replay it, because this is all very important. So I'm going to get straight into it. We're in our 6th year of a supply deficit in silver. What does that mean? We mined 800 million ounces in 2025. We consumed 1.1 billion. That is a supply deficit. Now, gold is used more monetarily for currency backing. For the first time in history, we're now seeing silver for currency backing. We're seeing China hoard it on record-breaking numbers, not letting it go out of their country. We're seeing India hoard it. We're seeing Russia hoard it, okay? Then we have to talk about mining. Only 27% of silver mined globally comes from a silver mine. Why would that be? Well, we've gotten all of the easy-to-get silver. So now in order to keep mining a metal that we need for utility use, that we are in a supply deficit on, we actually have to get it as a byproduct of copper, lithium, or gold mining, okay? That way we kind of just get it on the side as we're continuing to get gold out of the ground. The next thing that you need to look at is its specific utility use, okay? It is needed to conduct electricity that mines cryptocurrency. It is needed in semiconductors. It's needed in medical equipment. It's needed in solar panels. Missiles that we use, some of them have up to an entire monster box of silver in them, which is literally 500 ounces of silver, okay? Then we have to look at what is called an ASIC cost, all-in sustainable cost, which means how much does it actually cost to get it out of the ground? On average, it costs roughly $32 an ounce to get silver out of the ground. That means effectively the bottom price silver could actually have monetarily, if you looked at nothing else, is $32. But then you have to look at the supply deficit. Then you have to look at the now currency backing. Then you have to look at, we have just reclassified it as a critical earth mineral. Then you have to look at it as a store of value. Then you have to look at it as we are debasing our dollar currency, getting away from dollar-backed assets and going back into non-yielding hard assets like silver and gold. All these reasons give silver a floor price. Then you have to look at, how does silver move compared to gold? Silver is more volatile. When it goes up, it goes up. When it crashes hard compared to gold, which means in the short term, you stand a lot more chance to make money, massive profits with silver, being able to buy back in on the dip and repeat that cycle than you do with gold. This is the more longer term wealth preservation. This is the more make money now asset. And the last point I want to make on this part is just the continued demand growth for silver, all right? The utility use is not going away. There's no metal that conducts heat better than silver. And so long as we're continuing to manufacture solar panels, you have all these countries that have the green initiatives and all the Democrats that want more electric vehicles, that take lithium, that take diesel, that take big manufacturing, that take big plants that use a lot of electricity to produce that technology, will still need silver. So all the liberals that have absolutely no logic monetarily, you're helping this currency go up, meanwhile being pissed that it's going up and that you're not making any more money and that you want to tax the rich and give to the poor because you don't have any work ethic and you don't make any good decisions in your life. Meanwhile, capitalists and people that don't like communism or socialism are capitalizing on capital. And what is capital? It's called silver. So it's not going anywhere. And right now you also have to look at gold's $5 grand an ounce. What's easier to get for the everyday American, for the everyday person, for third world countries, for currency backing in developing countries? What's easier to get? An ounce of this or an ounce of this? It's this all day long. So now you have more retail investors, you have more mom and pop, more everyday individuals that can get into silver because it's now becoming a trend, because now people are starting to wake up and pay attention. What's easier, getting one of these or one of these? This all day long. This is only going to continue rising. We are nowhere near the top. If you thought it's too late, you're wrong. Good news is you can still get in now. You have plenty of time to make money and take your profits. Okay, so real quick, I want to actually invite you to a webinar that I host every single week. Link is in the description. If you guys want to learn how to 2 to 3x your net worth every few years, if you want to learn how I actually have a line of credit against my silver, it's really cool. I have a line of credit against this, and every year it goes up. Same with gold, right? And every year it goes up, I can increase this line of credit. Now, as I'm buying more gold and silver, I'm also increasing that line of credit. And then I use it to deploy into assets that do 20 to 30% on an annual basis while eliminating my taxes and building passive tax-friendly cash flow. If you want to learn about that, anybody can do it, okay? You're all at different levels. I'm going to be breaking down those levels and how you can take action and start doing this based on where you are at. So that webinar is completely free for you to attend. You can even learn how you can get a chance to win. I think I sent out 80 half ounces of silver or 80 whole ounces or something like that last month to some folks that attended that webinar. So you'll learn about that as well. Link is in the description, so make sure to attend. So the next point I want to make is, what do I own? Gold, silver, what's the ratio, all of this different stuff, all right? Now, if you want longer term wealth, if you want less volatility, I typically am going to be a little bit more gold heavy. Gold is less volatile, okay? If gold drops 20%, silver's maybe doing 30 or 35. If gold goes up 20%, silver might be doing 40 or 50, all right? So gold tends to be a little bit less volatile. It's good for long-term wealth. Now, according to the Bank of International Settlements, the BIS, which is basically the boss of banks, the banks of banks, gold is the only tier 1 asset out of the United States dollar. But you know what? Take that with a grain of salt because the dollar is shit. When it comes to silver, I'm more bullish on silver. Now, I'm also 32 as I'm making this, almost 33. I'm hoping I have a chance to stick around for several more decades. I'm here to make money now. So what I personally do is I use my silver. I use that volatility. I sell at the top. I don't swing trade. I don't make a job out of it. I only own physical silver, okay? And what I do is I'll take that 120 an ounce that we saw back at the beginning of 2026 and I'll sell. And then I let it go back into that 60 range and I buy back in, okay? And some of what I sell, I take that cash and I go into oil and I go into real estate. But I take those profits and I go back in and I've got options now. Buy back in on the dip, buy some gold, stock up on some gold, be able to use those profits to acquire even more gold, and then repeat that process. Now my present ratio, if you want to just know cut and dry, 70% silver, 30% gold. Maybe 1% of my portfolio is platinum, okay? 70% silver, 30% gold. Why? Because gold, if you look at the history, you see less volatility. Because silver, if you look at present times, and all of the analysts, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, we're calling for $130 to $300 an ounce silver, while at the same time we're calling for 6,000 an ounce gold in that same period of time. So what we're saying is gold might go up 30%, but silver could do 2 to 3x compared to where it's at now. I want the majority of my portfolio to be exposed to that 2 to 3x possibility rather than a 30% gain. I'll use that 2 to 3x, even if it just does 2 and not 3 or not 4. I'll use that 2 to 3x to take some profits, to go into oil, to go into real estate, to sell on the high and buy back in on the dip and get more silver and more gold to repeat the same process again. History mirrors itself. You can learn from the past. We've already seen this happen multiple times, so I'm just gonna continue doing it in the future. Guys, if you love this video and you're brand new to my channel, you got a couple things you wanna do. Tap that notification bell so you stay updated on every new video that I drop. Make sure to subscribe and smash that like button, okay? If you wanna learn more about building wealth with hard assets, lowering taxes, building passive tax-friendly cash flow, here's the thing, I'm not a financial advisor. I just do this at a professional level. I don't make 8 to 10% a year. I think that is cute. I'm only interested in assets that do 20 to 30%. This is just a starting point. So if you want to learn more about how I utilize this, how I leverage it, how I leverage my gold, how I leverage my silver, how I build tax-friendly income and cash flow and multiply my net worth, subscribe to the channel because that's what you're going to learn here. And again, link is in the description. Make sure to register for my webinar and attend because you're going to learn a lot more there live directly from me. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.